What is going on, everybody? Or I should say, Yacht Squad. This is your boy Yakutees, and this is your review for The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 1, Episode 1. I am going to do my best to give as much detail as possible because I was trying to get screenshots, but Peacock has it to where if you try to record anything, it's just a black screen. So I can't do that. Now, what I will do is I will minimize myself so you can, for the most part, see the latest. Okay, so and like I said, typically with a first episode or a season premiere, it's a lot going on, and they're trying to sit here and establish storylines. So this is probably going to be the longest review, maybe. I don't know. We'll see, because I might have to expound on some things. So we're getting clips of all the women. It's certain women I'm just going to bypass because nothing really happened, but. Cal says she doesn't really know Luann, but she knows Melissa and Ramona, the most. So there's that. We get Ramona and Luann talking, and my dog is in the kitchen just being. If y'all can hear the pit pat, that's my dog. Anyway, Ramona wants Luann to have her back, which is typical because because the only person that doesn't have someone with them is Kyle. Everybody else, there's two people from the other seasons. But if you've watched New York, we all know how much of a disaster that Ramona is. And Luann says she will up until she puts her foot in her mouth. If you watch New York, you know. Now, one thing I will say, and I'll preface this, is with this particular show, they do a good job of giving us flashbacks of certain things that happen on these women's respective seasons. So if you've never watched it, okay, we're going to give you a flashback package so you kind of understand. So it helps. But I've watched all the seasons of the women that are up here. The only Housewives show I haven't watched is OC. I'll get to it eventually. Nevertheless. But then we get a flashback, not like I think it was like hours before, where you have Ramona calling Teresa the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, pretty much saying she doesn't have a brain. Teresa has her moments. Teresa has her moments, but Ramona, you want to talk. But here you go, start stuff. And what I will say in this moment, well, I don't know. I really can't. Anyway, moving on. So there's 6 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms has bunk beds, and there's 7 women. So obviously, when these housewives go on trips, it's always who's getting what room. We'll revisit it. We have Cynthia. We have Kenya, and she's talking with Cynthia. But before she talks to Cynthia, we actually get to see baby Brooklyn. So that is nice that we actually get to see her baby. Beautiful. And Kenya says, "Oh, we're gonna call Auntie Cynthia," and Brooklyn got so giddy when she said that, which lets you know that those two are truly friends outside the show. I don't know if they're gonna be friends after the show because I've already seen all 3 episodes. It was a whole thing. So whatever. So they're doing the car ride to get to the jet they're taking. Ramona had a chance to talk to Teresa and says that she likes her. Okay, whatever. Melissa takes this. Now, there's that. But then Melissa takes this time to tell Teresa that, oh, well, Ramona calls you the scarecrow. And Ramona said this to Kyle. So Kyle called Melissa because they are cool and told her. What's going on? Aha. So with all of this, you can see what is happening. Now, I really would like for somebody to cuss Kyle the fuck out. Only because you're literally stirring the turd. Granted, yes, there needs to be some type of drama for people to be enthralled and engaged and whatnot. But you also have Melissa that is also helping to push this narrative, which lets you know off top these two probably won't have much of a storyline, if any. And Melissa just came off this last season of Jersey not having a dang on storyline, so it is what it is. So then Teresa says, well, Ramona will be the Tin Man. Now I get what she was trying to say because it's piece of scrap. It's a machine. It's a drawer. Whatever you want to call it. So they don't necessarily have brains, but it's like, yeah, that didn't stick. That did not stick. But we understood it. So they board the plane. Ramona and Kyle talk about, their respective weight. And Kyle has a thing about her weight. And this is going to come up later on in this particular review, or should I say episode if you guys watched it. Ramona talks about that she never really thought of herself as a celebrity. And they're all looking like, girl, that you'd have been on New York for how long? Stop playing with us. Please stop. And then Ramona had the audacity to say, New York put the Housewives on the map. And their show was called The Cool Water Show. She meant to say water cooler. This is why I say Ramona's want to talk about somebody being a scarecrow. And then have the audacity to tell those women, y'all should thank us. You're welcome. Cynthia said, New York never been number one. And Kenya's looking like, exactly, because I don't know what delusion she got going on. So then Cynthia brings out a big, large picture of Brooklyn, commends Kenya for, being able to actually take a trip without her, because if y'all watched the last 2 seasons of Atlanta, Brooklyn came with her everywhere. And it did create some tension amongst the women, especially with the last season. But a lot of that was they just did too much. Nevertheless, Cynthia's proud of that. She brings out this ribbon and these big scissors for her to cut it. Almost like you're cutting the umbilical cord is what she said. And then she says to the women, well, with this, she's also going through a lot in the middle of a divorce, blah, 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 blah. She also has a court appearance that she has to do via Zoom while we're on the trip. I think we should give her the best room. They all just like, okay. So they decide that, yeah, they're going to do that. Then Ramona brings up how each of the ladies is doing something each day, and that she wants them to go to this one particular restaurant where a friend of hers that she flirted with seasons back, he owns it. So she wants to do that. Cool, whatever. Kenya starts to ask for clarity on, because she's like, okay, because she was still married legally, but she was going through a divorce, and people are touchy about if you should still date while you're legally still married. But Kenya was just trying to understand, get some clarity, like, okay, you were flirting with him, but you were still married, trying to figure it out. And then Ramona pretty much said, it's because we're divorcing, bitch. And Kenya was just like, what you not gonna do is you not finna call me the B word. Not today, not on this trip. That's what we're not doing. And see, here's the thing. Ramona has been able to get away with this type of behavior. Now, again, because we've talked about this on panels and whatnot, how the women in Atlanta, they don't play that. They don't play that. They're not finna sit here and do the respectability politics. Oh, Kenya had let her know in a very pageant, nice and nasty, you better check yourself. And the ladies push Ramona to apologize, which is something that happens on New York, where it's just like, you are the oldest of all these women. You should know. Nobody should have to push you to apologize, especially if you know you're wrong. But Ramona never thinks she's wrong, because the women on New York have allowed her to get away with so much. So then you got Cal, Cynthia, and Kenya in a car, and then Kenya brings up the B word comment, and Cal mentions that on social media she had saw that someone posted, Ramona is going to call Kenya Portia. And they did a flashback, which I don't understand why they just didn't play it in sequence since it happened, but whatever. When they were on the plane, and she literally called Kenya Portia. And in her confessional, she was acting like she didn't know those two didn't like each other, but you did say of the Atlanta Housewives, you know Portia or like her, or whatever the case may be. So, see, all right, I hope they have a reunion. They need a reunion. They do. They need a reunion. That's all I'm gonna say. Ramona is the first in the house. So they get to the house. Ramona is the first one in, because she's like, oh, I need to use the ladies' room. Now, Kenya's already getting the master bedroom. Well, now you have Ramona doing what Ramona does on New York, where it tries to find the best room and justify her BS. And the women go in there, and they're just like, ma'am, the hell is you doing? Oh, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. And she says in her confessional, that she deserves the best room because she's the most senior and because her fans said that she should. Makes no sense at all. But they eventually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry. So the ladies confront her about it, and she calls Kenya Portia again. And then there's a flashback of them showing that she is horrible with people's names, especially when it's people who are providing services. I'm not going to call them to hell, but providing services. And you may not know their name, but if you are doing something with a cast, with a group of people that are under the same umbrella, you should know who it is that you're talking to and who you. And this is one of those where it's just like, okay, if Kenya sit here and give you the business, you can't be mad at nobody but yourself. So Ramona then decides to take a shower, and that I'm sorry, you had Melissa saying to her why are you in the bed with your feet up, your nasty dirty feet? Oh gosh darn it, Siri, up under the covers, like, ma'am, what is you doing? You was tripping. So then she goes and takes a shower. Cynthia and Kenya had a moment to talk, so they want to go back and try to like get her to understand the error of her ways. And they walk in, and she is butt booty naked. And they're just like, okay, we're just going to leave. And then Teresa, that was supposed to have been Teresa's room, and I believe the guy's name was Michael, the guy that's pretty much overseeing their stay there. They go in, they see her naked, just like, okay, they're done. But they all pretty much decide, we just gonna let her have that room. It is what it is. Cynthia and Teresa, they're outside having drinks, and Cynthia is mad because after they got off the plane, she took up for Ramona, just like letting Kenya know like she ain't that bad, she's a good person, this, that, and the third, and then literally here you go with the BS yet again, and it's just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? So I can understand her frustration. Um, so Cynthia says at this rate she gonna be on the island all alone. No pun intended. Teresa's looking like, huh? Oh, what was the pun? Hilarious. So seniority comes up, and in this conversation, and Teresa in her confession is like, okay, well, um, the person that's most popular, well, she has over 800,000 followers on Instagram. I got 2.2 million. I'm like, okay, a bit of a flex. Nobody cares. Ramona talks to the staff and is pretty much pleading her case to them, and it's just like nobody cares. And the staff is not going to sit here and say anything against you because look, they're just trying to do their job and just do it in peace. But you don't want to talk to the ladies. But again, she doesn't feel that she's wrong. So they leave for dinner. Ramona is in the car with Kenya and Teresa, and neither one of those women see her for it. They ain't talking to her, ain't got nothing to say to her. Okay? So at dinner, John, who is the owner, and that is Ramona's friend, she says this is the first time she has seen him in 6 years, and she is flirting, doing this with her chest, and it's kind of awkward, and like I have secondhand embarrassment, but okay, cool. So Kyle asks what was up with stories being leaked, and I kind of missed this, but again, covering it here because the whole room thing had been leaked to TMZ. So then she decides that she wants to come for Kenya, and Kenya handled it real nice. And she was like, "Well, you're friends with him. You have a picture with is the guy named Anthony with Anthony," and she was like, "Okay, and." Don't mean that I gave the story. I believe she gave the story, but it doesn't mean it. Now I do understand that yes, you don't want stuff leaked out there because if it's leaked out there, then people will not have interest in the show because it happens a lot with Atlanta, where a lot of stuff leaks. So by the time, especially with last season, so by the time we got to last season and then we finally got to Strippergate, we didn't care because it was already out there. We didn't care. So, but this is so minute. And then Kenya says, well, she heard about her in the rooms. And then Ramona wants to catch an attitude with Kenya and says, you don't know me. I don't like the blogs. I don't like, nor do I talk to the press. And she was like, no, I'm talking about you always being the first one to get a room. And again, if you watch New York, that's one of those where you didn't even have to watch this episode and knew that Ramona was going to pull that stunt. And they still let her keep the room. So it's just like you're still rewarding her bad behavior. Nevertheless, Kyle asks Ramona what does she do with her real friends when she's not on the show. Hopefully y'all caught that. She was like, well, they just give me the best room because I'm Ramona. Delusional. So Ramona says, she gets the best room. Because she's Ramona, but then apologizes for her bad delivery and bad behavior. And then they do a flashback of showing her as the apologizer. And I'll be honest, I would never accept an apology from Ramona. Never. Because we all mess up. And yes, sometimes you have to apologize, but when you are consistently doing something to wrong someone and then coming right with an apology and it is very consistent, that apology ain't nothing. And of course, an apology is not the words that matter. It's the actions that come with it. Whew, can't stand that woman. I do not like her. Kenya tells her they are girls who don't want there are girls who don't want to be in the same car with her, that probably don't want to be in the same place with her. Like, is this what you want? Ramona doesn't care, but then Kenya tells her, you are being an a-hole. And she was like, don't call me an a-hole. Oh, wait. Yeah, she was like, I'm not an a-hole. And sorry if you feel that. Kenya was like, no, no, no. I'm not the only one that feels that. There are other people that feel that. And hold on, man. Then Ramona says, to let. She was like, well, I was one of those said let you get the best room. So is that me being an a-hole? She was like, that's not the point. But it's the fact that when you did what you did, you disregarded everybody else. And Luann jumped in just like, yeah, that's kind of the point that she's trying to make. So, so Cynthia and Ramona go all to the side to talk, which Cynthia is the peacemaker, but of course, let's be very, very honest. They're just getting there. This is the first episode, so no one, like, the only people that really have fleshed out storylines at this particular point is Kenya against Ramona, Teresa against Ramona, and Kyle being an ish stirrer, but ain't nobody want to call Kyle out. I don't know why. So Cynthia pulls her to the side to talk to her. But at the same exact time, this is also Cynthia trying to have a moment to make sure she get her camera time. She's doing a better job over here than she does on Atlanta. I like Cynthia, but I'm just saying. And Ramona felt that she didn't do anything wrong, as I previously stated. Says that the room thing was a joke. You're a liar. And then Cynthia pretty much tells her, okay, go back over there and this is what you say. And I know we've all have had to sit here and say to somebody, okay, how about you try this? Or how about we switch up the delivery? But for her to spoon feed you everything that you need to say at your grown old age? Okay. So Ramona apologizes. Teresa brings up the scarecrow comment. And then you have so in Kenya's confessional, she was asked about being hypocritical because Ramona don't know Teresa, but you make that comment. And Kenya was just like, well, I've never, made a comment about someone I didn't know. They rolled that beautiful bean footage. But then she was like, well, in my defense, after I got to know that person, everything that I said was true. I'm like, Kenya. But again, Kenya is doing Kenya. And I will say, as of right now, Kenya understands the assignment. And I think that Teresa's being just a little bit reserved because if she has another incident, she can't go back to prison. So I don't think we might get a whole lot out of Teresa. I don't know just yet, but only time will tell. Ramona apologizes to Teresa, but what really got me is, let me give y'all a profile of it. She was this close, literally sitting, like, it's like their knees were touching this close to this woman's face. And Teresa is like saying, like, you said this to Kyle. So you didn't say this to me and just offend me. You said it to someone else. So it's a public thing. So because Ramona is talking to her like this because she wants to have a moment. But Teresa just takes it. The apology is accepted. Now they're back at the house. Ramona and Kyle talk about their body issues. I'm sorry, Kyle talks about her body issues because, she sees herself as fat, even though she's not. So, and Ramona was doing a good job of, encouraging her and even saying, like, I'm glad your husband doesn't feel that way. And Kyle's like, I wish we could really get this side of Ramona. And that's it. That's the first episode. It was decent. It was cool. And again, this is them setting up storylines and whatnot, so it's understandable. But yeah, I don't like Ramona. She again, she can go play in traffic. Seriously, seriously. Like I don't have it to do. But that is pretty much it. Pretty much it. So you know, it like I said, it's cute. It's cute for what it is. So y'all tell me how y'all feel. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all back for episode 2.